speaking 1 year ago. I said, no, it felt like I've been in this position for so long. And it's right. At that point, 1 year ago, I was actually campaigning. We did the McDonald's shot. Remember the McDonald's shot? We did the garbage truck shot. And actually, the McDonald's one was the biggest hit in the history of Google. Can you believe that? Number one, the garbage truck did well, but not as well. I guess there's something about McDonald's, right? But it worked, and we won a tremendous election. We won all 7 swing states. We won the great state of Florida, by the way, by 1.4 million votes, which is unprecedented. Biggest victory ever in Florida, including an 11-point victory right here in a place called Miami-Dade County. We won the popular vote for the first time of any Republican in many decades. We won the Electoral College 312 to 226. And we won 86% of the counties in America. That's a big one. 2,700 to 525. I'd say that's called a landslide, right? We got more votes from African Americans than any Republican candidate in history. We also won a record share of votes from the incredible Hispanic American community. There might be a couple of us left.
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to 45th Perspective, where we bring you truth, logic, and good old-fashioned American common sense. If you love this country, if you're tired of the lies from the mainstream media, and if you believe in freedom, faith, and family, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's breakdown of President Trump's latest rally speech, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And hey, if you want to help keep independent media alive, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/45thperspective. For as low as $5 a month, you can help us keep bringing you content the mainstream refuses to touch. All right.
Biggest vote in history. And above all, we won a resounding mandate to make America great again, which is what we're doing. And every day since, I've been fighting to turn the promise made into the ultimate promise kept. We're going to do our job. We have a big job to do. We've done really well. I think it's the best 9 months, they say, of any president. And I really believe that if we can have a few more 9 months like this, you'd be very happy. You'd be very satisfied. But it's been pretty incredible, with trillions and trillions of dollars being poured back into our country by other countries and other places and people. 1 year ago, we were a dead country. Now we're a country that's considered the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's the hottest country. We are now in the hottest country anywhere in the world. And I'm pleased to report that today the United States has the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation anywhere. We have the greatest economy right now. A lot of people don't see that. But if you look at what's happening with all the factories, AI, auto plants all over the country being built, that if you would have thought about that 2 or 3 years ago, you would have said it was the opposite. They were all leaving. Now they're all coming in. They're all coming back and then some. And I think that we can honestly say, and I think you're going to see it even more so over the next 12 months, that this is the golden age of America. This is the golden age. In the prior 4 years, crooked Joe Biden oversaw less than $1 trillion of new investment in the United States. So in 4 years, think of it, less than 1 trillion. That was not doing too good. In 9 months, I've secured commitments of over $18 trillion, and we're going to have $21 trillion within the first year. So Sleepy Joe did, think of that. In 4 years, he did less than $1 trillion. We're going to have $21 trillion in 1 year. I would say it's slightly better. Slightly, just a little bit better. The stock market is set 40-time all-time record highs, and just recently, record high, record high, record high. All of them, all of the different exchanges. GDP growth in the second quarter was an amazing, almost 4%. And as you know, they said, oh, it'll be 2% or 1%. And it's been really helped a lot by the tariffs. It's been really helped incredibly. because this is really a transition period. We went from a horrible, failed country to a tremendous success. It's a transition, and yet we did almost 4%, triple and even quadruple almost every other country anywhere in the world. Think of that. In the third quarter, we're on track to achieve an estimated 4.2, maybe more, who knows. I think if you go a couple of years out, you're going to see numbers like you've never seen, because all of these places that are now under construction, they're being built, they're going to be open, and thousands of jobs, hundreds of thousands of jobs are coming in, even building them. But when they open, that's when you're really going to see the numbers. We're building some of the biggest buildings ever built anywhere in the world. The AI buildings, you know, they can cover, they show displays of them. They can cover the island of Manhattan. They're so big. They literally can cover the island of Manhattan. In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off of food stamps, which is a record. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today. Think of that. Almost 2 million American-born workers are employed today, more than when I took office. That's 9 months ago. Can you imagine that? And I tell Republicans, if you want to win elections, you got to talk about these facts, you know. It's really easy to win elections when you talk about the facts. And we have more people working now than at any time in the history of our country. Right now, we have more people working. These are things you have to talk about. It doesn't just happen. You got to tell them. It's wonderful to do them, but if people don't talk about them, then you can do not so well in elections. Wages for workers are rising at the fastest pace in over 60 years. Those are workers, and that's what we love. We love the workers. Since I took office, wages for the typical factory worker are up $1,300. Construction workers' pay is up $2,200, and miners are up nearly $5,000 this year alone. And that's good, because it's not, you know, such an extra cost to the company. It really isn't. Somebody would say, oh, what's going to cost more? The fact is that they're doing such business like they've never done. You're going to start seeing numbers coming out very soon that are going to blow your mind. Under Biden, we had the worst inflation in modern history. We had inflation that was so bad, costing the typical family about $33,000 over a period of time. Their policies send food prices up 23. They come in, you know, when I first came in, I was in for 3 days, and one of the fake news members, they're all back there. That's a lot of press. Fake news. They said, egg prices are through the roof. I was there for 3 days, and this maniac, this lunatic person, happened to be a woman. Sir, what are you going to do about egg prices? And they'd gone up like 4 or 5 times. I said, well, you just told me it has a problem. And people weren't buying Easter eggs. You believe it? I said, we're buying Easter eggs for the White House, for the egg hunt, the famous egg hunt. But within a couple of months, we got them down. We have a great Department of Agriculture headed by Brooke Rollins, and we did a great job, and we got them down to the level they originally were a long time ago. Now we have that in just about everything. And if we don't have it, we get them down. Their policies sent food prices soaring 23%, the Biden policies. And it wasn't him. It was the people surrounding him around the desk. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. Biden. How the hell did that happen? Well, I know how it happened. A rigged election. That's how it happened. Think of the damage done. Although I must tell you, but this is a much more powerful term. I mean, this is a much better term. In one way, it's bad to see how bad people... You're going to see the same thing in New York, by the way. You watch what happens in New York. Terrible. But you're going to see that same thing. And I hope it doesn't happen, but you're going to see it. Gas prices are surging to $5 a gallon, and even higher, and mortgage rates skyrocketed by 152%. But under the Trump administration, all of that is changing. Prices are coming down very fast, and we're bringing them back to the beautiful part where you can have, and you can truly say, we're talking about the American dream again. You didn't used to hear that term. You heard it during my 4 years, and then it disappeared. Now you're hearing it again more than ever. Because we had the most successful economy in the history of our country during my first 4 years. We rebuilt the economy, cut the biggest tax cut in history. We had the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulation cut in history. That's why we had the great economy. And now The only difference is we're doing better this time. Actually, we're going to have a bigger, better, stronger economy than the first 4 years. And that was the most successful economy in history. Gasoline prices have plummeted to the lowest in 2 decades, and we're going to soon see $2 gasoline. Think of that, $2 a gallon. It was up to $4.50, $5. And you know, when you get gasoline and you get oil and gas down, it's so big, it's so massive, the importance of it, that everything else starts to follow. And that's what's happening. Grocery prices are way down, and Walmart just announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal, this is the greatest. They're greatest, they're wonderful. They come out every year with how much does a Thanksgiving meal cost compared to last year, right? And it always goes up, up, up. It's 40%, 30% more. Is 25% lower than 1 year ago. Isn't that great? That's a big deal, Rima. That's a big deal. I don't know if they care about that in Saudi Arabia, but here it means a lot. We got the princess here from Saudi Arabia. She's got a lot of cash. Serious cash, and she's a great person. So she doesn't care about the price of a turkey is down a little bit, you know, she doesn't have to worry about it. Since March, the price of eggs is down 85%. Energy prices are down, interest rates are down, despite the fact that we have a total nincompoop at the Federal Reserve. It was recommended by one of my real great people, who I'd never spoke to again. And the cost of the typical new mortgage is down by nearly $3,000 a year. Day by day, we're making America affordable again. It's going to be affordable again at a really record pace. And, you know, other people are going to take credit. All the mayors and all the governors, they're going to say what a great job. They didn't do a damn thing. Yet as we speak...
Let's get into it. Segment 1, the one-year reflection, 1:30 to 4:30. You know, Trump opened that speech with something simple but powerful. He said, 1 year ago, I felt like I'd been in this position for so long. And right there, you could feel the nostalgia, the energy of a fighter who's been through it all and still standing tall. He reminded us of those campaign moments, the McDonald's shot, the garbage truck shot, those classic Trump moments that became viral sensations. Now, let's be real. You don't see other politicians out there eating McDonald's with construction workers or posing in front of garbage trucks. They'd rather hide behind polished PR campaigns and fake smiles. Trump connects with America's working class because he isn't afraid to be real. And that's why those moments resonate, not just as memes, but as symbols. He said the McDonald's video became the biggest hit in Google history. Whether that's literal or just Trump exaggerating in Trump fashion, the point is clear. His message reaches people. He reminded the crowd, we won all 7 swing states. We won Florida by 1.4 million votes. We won the Electoral College 312 to 226. We won 86% of the counties in America. Now, whether you believe every statistic or not, that's the kind of conviction that fires up a movement. And you could hear it in his tone. He wasn't just reminiscing about a past victory. He was laying the groundwork for a future comeback. Segment 2, the dead country to hottest country transformation, 4:30 to 7:30. Then came the big statement, one that should wake up every American. 1 year ago, we were a dead country. Now, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. That's the Trump message in a nutshell: revival, resurrection, and renewal. He said America now has the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, and the strongest spirit. Compare that to what we had under Joe Biden: open borders, chaos in cities, inflation through the roof, and a military more focused on pronouns than preparedness. Trump's tone wasn't just bragging. It was a report card. He was saying, look what happens when we bring back real leadership. He mentioned trillions of dollars pouring back into the country, factories being built, AI and auto plants returning home. He said, 2 or 3 years ago they were leaving. Now they're coming back. That's huge. Because it's not just about economics, it's about identity. It's about America rediscovering itself as a land that produces, not just consumes. He called it the golden age of America. And honestly, you could feel it. Segment 3, the Biden comparison, 7:30 to 11 o'clock. Now, let's talk about the part that made the crowd erupt, the comparison with Biden. Trump said, in the prior 4 years, crooked Joe Biden oversaw less than $1 trillion of new investment in the United States. In 9 months, I've secured commitments of over $18 trillion, and we're going to have $21 trillion within the first year. Even if you cut those numbers in half, even if you fact-check it 1,000 times, the contrast stands. Biden's America was defined by hesitation, confusion, and decline. Trump's America, as he paints it, is roaring back with confidence. He even joked, Sleepy Joe did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We're doing $21 trillion in 1 year. I'd say that's slightly better. Audience laughs. That's vintage Trump, humor mixed with swagger. He followed that up by talking about 40 all-time highs in the stock market and GDP growth at nearly 4%. Remember how the media laughed at him when he said America could hit 4% GDP growth again? They said it was impossible. And yet, here he is saying, we did it. Trump credits it to tariffs and bringing back industries, not outsourcing them to China. Whether you love tariffs or not, the point is he's prioritizing American labor. That's something we can all get behind. Segment 4, Jobs, Wages, and America's Workers, 11 to 1,500 hours. One of the strongest parts of the speech was when he started listing hard numbers. He said over 600,000 Americans lifted off food stamps, and 1.9 million more American-born workers employed compared to 9 months ago. Then he told Republicans, if you want to win elections, talk about these facts. That's exactly right, because the truth is, results do matter. You can scream about democracy and climate justice all you want, but if Americans can't afford groceries or gas, none of that means a damn thing. He went on, wages for workers are rising at the fastest pace in over 60 years. And then he broke it down. Factory workers, up $1,300. Construction workers, up $2,200. Miners, up nearly $5,000. Those are the people who build America, the ones who keep the lights on and the shelves stocked. And Trump made a key point. It's not costing businesses more, because productivity and demand are booming. That's the win-win formula. You grow the pie instead of redistributing it. Segment 5. The inflation and rigged election moment, 15 to 1,900 hours. Of course, Trump couldn't resist bringing up Biden's failures. And let's be honest, who can blame him? He called Biden's inflation the worst in modern history, saying it cost families $33,000 over time. Then he mocked the media. One of the fake news reporters said, egg prices are through the roof. I'd been in office for 3 days. Classic Trump storytelling, humor mixed with scorn. He said under his administration, food prices came down quickly thanks to smart leadership at the Department of Agriculture. Then came the jab. Biden didn't know what the hell he was doing. How did that happen? A rigged election. That's the red meat moment that gets the crowd roaring. Whether or not you agree with every claim, you can't deny that millions of Americans believe the system has been compromised. And Trump taps into that frustration. He warned that what happened nationally could happen again in states like New York. Chaos, crime, corruption. And again, his message was simple. We've seen the damage. Now it's time to rebuild. Segment 6, Gas, Mortgages, and the American Dream, 19 to 2,300 hours. Then he pivoted to one of the most relatable issues in America, affordability. Gas prices, mortgages, groceries. He said under Biden, gas went up to $5 a gallon, mortgage rates up 152%. But now, under his leadership, everything's turning around. We're bringing prices down very fast. We're talking about the American dream again. That line, the American dream, you could feel it hit the crowd. Because for a while, that phrase disappeared from our national vocabulary. We stopped believing we could own homes, raise families, and retire comfortably. Trump's point was clear. He's restoring not just the economy, but the hope that fuels it. He reminded people that during his first 4 years, America had the most successful economy in history. Biggest tax cut, biggest regulation cut, lowest unemployment. And now, he says, we're doing even better. That's confidence. That's leadership. He predicted gas would soon hit $2 a gallon, grocery prices dropping, Walmart reporting the cost of Thanksgiving meals down 25% compared to last year. That's the kind of good news you won't see on CNN or MSNBC. Segment 7, Making America Affordable Again. 2300 hours? 27:00. One of the standout phrases from the speech was when he said, "Day by day, we're making America affordable again." That's a powerful twist on Make America Great Again, because it zeroes in on what families feel every day, the cost of living crisis. He mentioned egg prices down 85%, energy costs down, interest rates easing, and mortgages costing families $3,000 less per year. Those are the kind of wins that change lives. But Trump, in his signature style, also called out the freeloaders. Other people are going to take credit, all the mayors, all the governors. They didn't do a damn thing. That's a shot at the political class who always show up for ribbon cuttings but were nowhere to be found when the real work was being done. And that's why people love Trump. He doesn't mince words. Segment 8. The message behind the showmanship. 27:00, 30:00. Now, let's be honest, some people only hear the exaggeration, the boasting, the jokes, but what they miss is the message behind it. Trump isn't just talking numbers, he's talking about national pride. When he says golden age of America, he's not just predicting economic growth, he's saying America can believe in itself again. That's something we lost under the globalist mindset, under the America Last policies. He's redefining patriotism for the modern era, not as something outdated or offensive, but as something aspirational. You can see why the establishment hates that, because when people start believing again, they stop obeying blindly. They start thinking for themselves. Segment 9. The bigger picture. America's comeback. 30:00, 34:00. Here's the thing. Trump's message isn't just about economics. It's about momentum. He's saying America was on the ropes, culturally, spiritually, financially, and now it's making a comeback. He's positioning himself not as a politician, but as a symbol of that comeback. Every line, every story, every boast ties back to one theme: America first. And that's why his movement isn't going away, because it's not built on politics. It's built on emotion, loyalty, and a shared belief that this country can still be great. You don't get that from teleprompter politicians. You get it from conviction. Segment 10. Closing message. 34:00, 38:00. So let's bring it home. Trump's speech wasn't just a rally. It was a reminder that the American experiment isn't over. He painted a picture of factories reopening, wages rising, families thriving, and energy independence returning. And whether you agree with every word or not, one thing is undeniable: he makes people believe again. And in a time when the media thrives on division, hopelessness, and fear, that belief is powerful. Direct hit outro. 38:00, 40:00. Music builds softly, proud, cinematic tone. Host on camera. Patriots, if this message fires you up, if you believe America is ready for another golden age, don't just sit on the sidelines. Share this video. Leave a comment below with the hashtag Golden Age of America if you're ready to see this country rise again. And remember, we're not just here to react. We're here to think, to question, and to stand firm in truth. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and join our growing community on Patreon at patreon.com/45thperspective for as low as $5 a month. Every contribution helps us stay independent, unfiltered, and 100% American. This is 45th Perspective, where we don't follow the narrative, we challenge it. God bless you, God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America.